away.
About 4 kilometers away,
There's a holy place of Rudradwip.
there's a holy place of Rukumpur.
That Nityananda entered the Grihastha ashram.
There, after Lord Nityananda entered the Grihastha ashram,
he moved there from Shaligram.
he moved there his Shaligram.
From Shaligram.
He moved there from Shaligram.
He was staying at a place called Shaligram first.
He was staying at a place called Shaligram.
And he moved to Rudradwip, and there's a deity there, Lord Nityananda and others.
And he moved to Rukumpur, and there's a deity of Nityananda, Janava, and others.
So this Rukumpur on the Kartik Purnima, a special bathing day.
So in Rukumpur, on Kartik Purnima, there's a special day.
And by bathing at that time in the Ganges, you get the same benefit as bathing in Hardwar.
And bathing at that time in Ganges, you get the same benefit as bathing in Haridwar. Haribol! Haribol!
And there also, the first time, one demon called Varasur.
There's also a pastime where there was a demon called Varasur.
He had the head of a pig.
He had a head of a pig. Varasur.
And he was already, I think he went there and had a fight with him and liberated the demon.
I think Baladev, he went there and he fought with that demon and delivered him.
So, generally we don't go. Some years we went, but because it's about 8 kilometers.
Some years we didn't go, but as it's 8 kilometers,
So, the place known as Ramatirtha.
this place is also known as Ramatirtha.
And we went very pranam to Rukumpur
So we want to pay our pranams to Rukumpur
from here.
from here. Haribol!
So Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj was talking about a place called Rukumpur. It's 4 kilometers away from Shankarpur. Sometimes we go there to Rukumpur. It's quite a long walk. I don't think we're going there today. No, we're not going there today. But it's a place where Lord Nityananda had some pastimes there. So Jayapataka Swami was talking something about the deities which are there. That place.
We are also talking about Shankarpur now, next place we will go. We will not stand there.
Uh-huh.
Regarding that Leela he is speaking.
So, yes, all right. Jayapataka Swami is going to tell us about Shankarpur now, is it? Yes?
Hare Krishna.
Navadwip Parikrama अच्छा लगता है.
मैं आशा करता हूँ कि आप सभी को ये नवद्वीप मंडल परिक्रमा करने में खुशी होती है, अच्छा लगता है.
So now you're in Shankarpur.
तो अभी आप शंकरपुर में हैं.
Here many pastimes happened.
तो यहाँ पर बहुत सारी लीलाएं हुई थी.
Lord Chaitanya met different acharyas.
चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने यहाँ पर विभिन्न आचार्यों के साथ भेंट की.
And also the special Shivalinga from the Nil Rakta Shiva.
तो यहाँ पर एक विशेष शिवलिंग है जिसका नाम है नील रक्त शिवलिंग.
Shivalinga Chilo and Ravan and Anigasa.
यहाँ पे ये जो शिवलिंग है ये था और इसे रावण लेकर चला गया था.
And wherever he would set the linga down, he'd stay there.
लेकिन जब रावण इस शिवलिंग को ले जा रहा था उसके साथ एक बात थी कि जहाँ भी ये रावण इस शिवलिंग को रख देगा शिवलिंग वहीं पर रहेगा.
Ravan first went to Jharkhand.
रावण सबसे पहले झारखंड गया
And he had to cross border.
और फिर उसे लघुशंका जाना पड़ा.
So he gave the linga to a Brahmin who said he would hold it until it's all 3 times or something.
तो रावण ने ये शिवलिंग एक ब्राह्मण को दिया जिसने कहा था कि मैं इसको अपने पास रख सकता हूँ और जब तक मैं 3 बार नहीं बुलाऊं तब तक मैं इसको रख सकता हूँ अपने पास 3 बार और कुछ बार.
They are in charge of the urination gave Ravan unlimited urine.
तो जो हमारे शरीर में लघुशंका जो नियंत्रण करते हैं जो देव उन्होंने रावण को इतना प्रेशर दिया कि वो रावण बहुत समय तक लघुशंका करता ही रहा.
And the Ravan, he chanted 3 times, he called out, but Ravan, he was still dancing.
तो उस ब्राह्मण ने 3 बार रावण को पुकारा लेकिन रावण अभी भी लघुशंका कर ही रहा था.
And the Ravan went down the Shivalinga.
और थक हार के ब्राह्मण ने उस शिवलिंग को नीचे रख दिया
And ran away. And
और
ran
वहां
away.
से भाग गया.
So Ravan was not able to move the Shivalinga from there.
तो रावण यहाँ से शिवलिंग को और कहीं नहीं ले जा पाया.
That Shiva now is a Devgar.
तो वो शिव अभी देवघर में है.
So actually, that Shiva belongs in Mayapur.
तो असल में वो जो शिवलिंग देवघर में है उन्हें मायापुर में होना चाहिए. वो मायापुर के हैं.
And so here, Shankaracharya, he came
तो यहाँ पर शंकराचार्य आए थे
and he went to preach in Navadwip.
और वो नवद्वीप में प्रचार कर रहे थे.
But what Chaitanya told them, don't come to Navadwip, is my place.
लेकिन चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने उन्हें कहा कि आप नवद्वीप में प्रचार मत कीजिए, नवद्वीप मेरा स्थान है.
And Shankaracharya left Navadwip.
तो फिर शंकराचार्य नवद्वीप छोड़कर चले गए.
And so this place is still known as Shankarpur.
तो इस जगह का नाम अभी भी इस जगह को पुकारा जाता है शंकरपुर के नाम से. हरि बोल.
Who to take initiation from? And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his father, was telling him, I cannot be your guru. I'm your seminal father. You have to get initiation. You must have a spiritual master. It's essential. So, who to accept? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said to his father, how can I take initiation? There's nobody. They're all cheaters. They're all rascals. There's nobody who I could really, who I could see as my spiritual master. But then Bhaktivinoda Thakur pointed his attention to Gorkishore Das Babaji. Gorkishore Das Babaji had been visiting the home of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which we went to over at Swarupganj. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was living there at the Surabi Kunj, and then later on round the corner at the house which he had constructed. And Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji would come there. You can see the Bhajan Kutir is there, beside Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Samadhi. On the other corner there's a Bhajan Kutir for Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji. So Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji was visiting there, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur would be speaking. He'd be giving classes on Chaitanya Charitamrita, or sometimes speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was regularly preaching, giving classes, lectures. With great endeavor, he found a copy of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He had to search for it, and with great delight he was able to find a copy. Similarly, Upadeshamrita was discovered by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was looking through the library of one learned scholar who he happened to know, and he came across a copy of the manuscript, Upadesh Amrita. And he was so ecstatic when he found it. He said, this book will bring joy to all the Vaishnavas. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur took that book, Upadeshamrita, wrote commentary on it. He wrote also his commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also added to it. He would also add to some of the editing work which Bhaktivinoda Thakur had done. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur encouraged Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, you have to take initiation. You go to that man, Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji. But there's a big difference. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is big scholar, big learned man, can speak so many languages, very erudite, very learned in everything, born in such a noble family. And Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji is practically illiterate. He could hardly write. So, such a contrast between the two people. Is it actually possible that such a learned person could surrender to such a illiterate person, an uneducated person? So, materially, he seemed to be uneducated, but spiritually, he was highly elevated. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur encouraged him that this Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji, he is good. You should surrender to him. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati went to him and fell at his feet and requested initiation. But Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji didn't have any disciples. He said, no, I don't want disciples. Why I should have disciples? We heard also yesterday about Saranga Thakur didn't have disciples. Then in his old age, finally he took the one disciple. So similarly, Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji was saying, no, I don't want disciple. No. And then he said also, anyway, you're so learned person. I'm so illiterate, I don't know anything. How could I ever be your guru? But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was pleading and begging. And so then Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji said, well, I will ask Krishna. Let me ask Krishna. And so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati relented for some time. He went away. And then when they met again, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati came forward and inquired more. Did you see Krishna? Did you ask him about my initiation? He said, no, I didn't see him. I wasn't able to see him yet. And that went on for some time, and then again he asked. And then one day, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati inquired, Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji said, well, I asked him, but he didn't give me any reply. So again, some more time elapsed, and then again Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati came and he requested, "Did you get a reply?" And Gaurkishore Das Babaji said, "No, I didn't get any reply yet." So then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said to Gaurkishore Das Babaji, "Then my life is useless. Then I will have to give up my life." And he went moving towards a bridge which was flowing over a river, as if he was going to jump off the bridge into the flowing river. And at that time only, then Gaurkishore Das Babaji said, "Well, all right." He agreed. And he said, "We will find wait for a suitable date, and on an auspicious day." Then Gaurkishore Das Babaji initiated Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And he gave him the name Sri Varsavanavi Devi Daita. Daika Das. Sri Varsavanavi Devi Daitaya Das. Like that name? We get longer, names are becoming longer and longer now. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was initiated like that by Gaurkishore Das Babaji. But he was here in this place before his initiation, and came here, he was chanting here, chanted so much. He was alone. Nobody to cook for him, nobody to do laundry for him or wait on him. And practically there was no shelter. He just had an umbrella. An umbrella. Prabhupada said umbrellas are very useful in India. Protect you from the sun, protect you from the rain, and protect you from dogs. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati lived here with his umbrella. And his umbrella was not a very good one. There was some hole in it also. But he would sit there, and patiently he would sit and chant. And he was chanting and chanting and chanting. Then it happened, somebody came here and saw him and spoke to him and realized how he was such a greatly enlightened soul. And he encouraged him to go for preaching, and he brought him to Calcutta. And it was later on they went to Uttadanga. The first place where they were preaching in Calcutta was at Uttadanga. How many of you have been to Uttadanga? Some people. Uttadanga is a property which has been acquired by ISKCON recently. Just last year we had the opening of the Uttadanga center, very well restored. It was a very old property. So it was there that Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, he went there as a young man in his early 20s, and it was there where he first met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, when Bhaktivedanta Swami walked in the door with his other friends, he immediately said to them, "You're nice young men. Why don't you preach the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?" And Prabhupada said, I was shocked. I was stunned what to do. He said, I was just a young man. I'd just been married and had young child. How I could ever think of preaching the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Not only that, Prabhupada said at that time he was a follower of Gandhi. And he was in his khadi. Everything was khadi. Even when I came to India, we had a lot of khadi. Now, it's very hard to get khadi. But khadi is the best cloth, hand-woven cloth, which is very cool to wear in the hot weather. So Gandhi, he was promoting his followers, everyone should wear khadi. Don't buy the imported synthetic cloths, imported from the UK and different things like that. Use the local, village-made, hand-woven khadi. And Prabhupada said, I was in my khadi, I was in a dhoti and kurta, all khadi. And so he was following Gandhi. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati saying, why don't you preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So our founder Acharya immediately argued back, no, we have to get independence for our country first. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was riled. Just, what nonsense is this? It's the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so important, it cannot wait for some political adjustment. And we saw Srila Prabhupada go to Russia, 1971. Russia was at that time communist. It was closed up. The whole of Eastern Europe was locked up. Nobody was supposed to go there. Prabhupada went in his dhoti and kurta as devotees. They went there and they made the first Russian devotee. Of course, that was Ananta Shakti Prabhu, who went on to spread Krishna consciousness around Russia. And today we have many centers in Russia, and the Russian devotees, they spread the Krishna conscious philosophy to the other countries in the Soviet bloc there, Ukraine and Kazakhstan and so many other stands. Ambarish Maharaj is preaching there now, all Russian-speaking countries. And the founder that began, Srila Prabhupada, he went there and he preached there. He did not care about any political adjustment. He had learned that from his spiritual master. And we see also other parts of the world where there are also difficulties in trying to spread Krishna consciousness, but somehow the devotees go there, they take the risk. So this is all under the inspiration of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was pioneering this preaching mission. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he preached in the villages, Namhata, village to village. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he brought the mission into the cities, into the big towns and cities, and established temples. So that was quite different from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And of course, later on, then Bhaktivedanta Swami brought the same mission out around the world, to every town and country all over the globe. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission could be fulfilled. So preaching Krishna consciousness is not subject to any limitations. It doesn't matter about any time or place or circumstance. Any time, any place, it's auspicious. Right? The saying is, Subhashya Sigram. The auspicious thing should be done immediately. What is most auspicious? Preaching the message of Krishna consciousness, to go everywhere and distribute the holy name. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati set up the Gaudiya Math, and he established his mission. He established 64 centers around India, and he sent people to Europe. He wanted Krishna consciousness to be developed around the world. He even paid money for his disciples to go to England and to Germany, and this way try to establish the Krishna consciousness movement. They went to Burma. Well, at that time, but now it's called Myanmar. They went there also. They brought back interesting stories there about life in Myanmar. They said in Myanmar, the people have a big pot. They have a big pot outside their door, and any animal, any rats or anything, they just throw it in the pot, and they leave it to ferment, you know. But when they said when they brought some ghee there to Burma, when the people smelt ghee, they thought, oh, this is terrible. But they thought there's rats and stuff which were there. They thought this is very nice. So Gaudiya Math that was their experience in going into Myanmar, that they didn't get very far with the preaching work. there. But they did establish one center in Dhaka. That was done. So they went to England. The Gaudiya Math people had gone to England, and they'd given some initiation. One man even came from Germany. He came to India. He came here and took initiation from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Later on he went back to Germany, and he also did some preaching there. And some elderly ladies took initiation in the UK, but nothing very dynamic. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted to see preaching, he wanted to see results. Just like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada would want to know, how many books have you distributed? How many devotees have you made? How many properties have you acquired? You know, you could say, but isn't that very fruitive? Quite, it sounds almost like materialistic. But it's all for the service of Krishna. That we need properties, you need buildings. Prabhupada expected devotees. You should have your own place. You should have your buildings. You have to get established. You have to purchase some place and have your own place. You should have a big congregation. And you should be distributing books. Very important. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati ran Gaudiya Math like that. The devotees would go out and preach. And he would, if somebody could distribute even one newspaper and just collect only 1 paisa, he would appreciate, you have done very well. You have distributed newspaper. You have collected some coins. Very good. Now if somebody gives you coins today, you sneer. You just give me coins. What is this? But he was appreciating. And actually it said he did not like the devotees to just go to rich people. He wanted to see that they would go to the poor people as well. Just like Srila Prabhupada told us, don't just distribute prasadam to the poor people. The rich people also need prasadam. You have to give prasadam to everyone. We often just think of the poor people, but we have no program how to reach the wealthier people. They also need Krishna's mercy. We have to be thinking all round. Krishna consciousness is for everyone. How to distribute to everyone. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would do that. He would wear sewn cloth. Previously to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, sannyasis never wore sewn cloth. But it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati who started to wear things like a jacket, an overcoat, and even shoes. And he would even ride in a car. It was unheard of. A sannyasi riding in a car. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would use these things to attract people, to go to the big government ministers and to impress on them. And he would be so convincing, he would get them to come all the way out to Mayapur, to visit Mayapur, and to confirm that actually Mayapur was the actual birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he had many challenges in his preaching mission. Even here in Mayapur, at one point when they were doing parikrama, they were stoned. There was a gang of people who were hired to throw stones on all the parikramas. And people were injured. It was a big news. People were shocked because they knew that the people doing parikrama are peaceful people. They're pious, religious people. But they were stoned. Why? Because the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. People wanted that the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be in Navadwip, which it was not. But it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati who supported Srila Bhaktivinoda's efforts to establish the actual birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here in Mayapur, based on the authority of Shastra. And things like landmarks also, like the Chankazi, the Samadhi of the Chankazi is on Mayapur side. Lord Chaitanya had led the procession to the Chankazi's house. How could they lead it from Navadwip to the Chankazi? There's no mention of them taking a boat and going. No, it had to be that Mayapur, the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is here in Mayapur Dham. So it was this was one of the challenges which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had to meet, to establish the actual birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. And then there was criticism also because he would give sacred thread initiation to people who were not born in higher class families. Usually in Vedic culture it's only the Brahman, the Kshatriya and Vaishya who get the sacred thread, the Upanayana initiation. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he would give the sacred thread to people who were not from these families, from other castes, other people. They were all allowed to take the. So this was criticized. It was very much criticized. So much so, when he did Parikrama in Vrindavan, when they came to Loy Bazaar, all the shops closed. Every shop in Loy Bazaar closed. In other words, he said, we don't want any business from you. We're not selling you anything. How would you like that? And not a very nice way to welcome people, is it? You know, you come to Vrindavan and they close the shops, they close the marketplace, they don't want any business from you. Why? Because all those shopkeepers were brahmanas. They all had the sacred thread, and they didn't like that that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was giving it to other people. But that was on the basis of scripture. So these kind of things had to be dealt with. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was a great fighter, and he overcame many obstacles to establish this Gaudiya Vaishnava mission. So we're here today to remember his wonderful contribution, his great efforts in establishing Lord Chaitanya's mission. We're going to have a drama. Huh? Oh, now? Nrsimha Maharaj wants to speak? Oh, Sundar Chaitanya Maharaj is going to.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chaksaram-militam yena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha. So in regard to Sankaracharya, who is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, so one question may come, why would Lord Shiva comes and propagates Mayavad philosophy? That could be one question, right? And we know Lord Shiva is Mahadev. Vaishnavanam Yatha, his greatest devotee. Why would he comes and propagate Mayavad philosophy? That's the question. The point is, because the demons, normally the Shastra is meant for the devotees, for the Acharyas of the devotees, the Vaishnavas. But what happened in Kali Yuga, the demon were using Shastra to preach their philosophy. Demon using Shastra to preach their own philosophy. What to do? So then Vishnu had to tell Lord Shiva to do something. Right? Lord Shiva to incarnate as Sankaracharya. What does that mean? what did Shankaracharya do? Of course, he propagated Mayavad philosophy. We have seen some time nowadays in temple when they make temple construction. I have seen in Delhi, in Bombay also. You know, there is this dome inside the altar. Sometimes you've seen the pigeon coming, the birds, the pigeon entering the temple room and past stool also. But what they are doing now, at the gate and at the door they put some fencing, right? To stop, to prevent the bird, the pigeon from coming inside. They plant maybe some bamboo tree outside. So this fencing would stop or prevent the birds, the pigeon, to go, not to enter the temple room, but to go out and pass through outside. Right? So that's the fencing is meant for. We have seen it. Now it's becoming part of the architectural construction of temple also, putting fencing to prevent the pigeon from coming inside. So this is the point, is that the pigeon will not be able to go inside, it will go outside and pass stool. So that fencing is Shankaracharya, he has put that. So, and instead of coming to using the Shastra to pass their own stool, Mayavad philosophy, so they could do it outside there. Hari Bol. So this is, of course, when Mahaprabhu was preaching, he's been defeating many stalwart Mayavadis like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was number one Mayavad, right? So one time they were asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you're a sannyasi, you took sannyas from the Mayavad Sampradaya, so why you were chanting, why you were chanting? Sannyas means supposed to be studying Vedanta. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, my Guru Maharaj told me I'm a fool number one. I cannot understand. So I'm supposed to be reading, chanting Hare Krishna. And he quoted one verse from the Shastra. What is the verse? You all know that. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva 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 Gatir Anyatha. So, and he told me to chant this mantra. And the Mayavadis, they know this mantra because they were scholar. They were great scholars, so they cannot deny it. But they cannot say also. If they say, that will be against their philosophy, right? So they cannot deny it and they cannot also say. And they told Mahaprabhu, okay, you are chanting, that's fine, but why you are dancing? Right? Why you are dancing with mad people? So then Mahaprabhu said, yes, this is what happened, this is a result of chanting. I went to my Gurudev and asked my Gurudev, Kiba mantra dila gosai? Kiba? Bal, japite, karila pagal. What kind of mantra you have given to me, my Gurudev? I'm chanting this mantra and I'm becoming pagal, mad. And Gurudev said, Ishwarpur said, my dear son, this is a result. This is a result of chanting. And this is a proof here, right? You're all chanting Hare Krishna, isn't it? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And you also have become mad, right? Because you're sitting on the ground here, under the tree, right? When was the last time you were sitting under the tree? When was the last time? Last go Prima. Yeah, we have to wait for that only. So this is the result of chanting Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Yeah, if you're not mad for Maya, if you're not mad for Krishna, then we'll become mad for Maya. We are all mad in this world, either Krishna or for Maya. Everybody's mad. It's better to become mad for Krishna, because we are following our parampara, right? The acharyas also became mad. Hey Radhe Vrajadevike Chalalite, hey Suno, they were looking for the Lord, Radharani, for Vishaka, Lalita. They were under the bush. Where are they? Even the gopis also became mad. They were looking for Krishna everywhere. And they were talking to the trees, to the peacock, to the land. They became so mad they were speaking. If you see somebody, your friend speaking to the trees, what would you think about him? He is mad. So we are following our parampara. That's our parampara. Right? So the Shankaracharya's philosophy, and then the Mayavadi said, okay, you're chanting, that's fine. You're dancing, that's okay. But why you are not reading Vedanta? This is what they asked him. And Mahaprabhu said, Vedanta is pure. Vedanta is clear. Right? Ved Vyas wrote the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta is clear. But your Mayavadi explanation, he said that the Vedanta is clear like the sun. Right? But your philosophy, Mayavadi philosophy, is like the dark clouds covering the sunshine. This is the Mayavadi philosophy. So, of course, understanding the Mayavadi philosophy, that's there. There's complete agreement in all the Shastras regarding Upanishad, the Vedanta Sutra, the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita. All there is complete agreement among all these books. But we have to understand, we have to have the proper commentary of the Acharyas. They are all in agreement with each other. One time there was a question, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, which parts of the Vedas defeat Mayavad? Can anybody say? Which part of the Vedas defeat Mayavad philosophy? He said, they are all Vedas. All the Vedas defeat Mayavad philosophy. We'll see that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Punat Purnam. How did Prabhupada translated Om in this invocation? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mayavad would say, hey Prabhupada, Swamiji, why it is written here, Personality of Godhead? This is Prabhupada translation. Prabhupada using three words. This is unheard of. Three very powerful words. Supreme Personality, Godhead. So Godhead means how many gods, right? But what kind of Godhead? Supreme Godhead. And not only that, it is Supreme Personality. He has a personality. So this kind of translation, many other societies would use maybe the Blessed Lord, right? The Christians use that, the Blessed Lord. But Prabhupada using the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mayavadi would be also using Om. Om means the Nirakar, means the impersonal aspect of God. That's also God, but there is impersonal aspect of God, saying Om. No, Om is a generic. Generic means like saying the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister, it is vague, it is not, there is no detail when we say the Prime Minister, right? Who is the minister? Is it the Prime Minister? But if you say Mr. Modi, right? You take the name. By saying Mr. Modi, complete picture comes. He's got white hair, white daru, say? Dari, chashma. He's always doing like this. Namaskar, right? So when you say the name, the whole complete picture comes. This is why when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Om exists. And the Mayavadi would use the word Tattvam Asi. You are that. This is also very a little bit of kind of offensive. You say somebody, you are that. You are that. What is that? Tattvamasi. But Mahaprabhu would never use that. When he would meet them, he would tell them, Krishner Mati Astu. That's benediction. Krishner Mati Astu. Always be Krishna conscious. One last point is, I want to make one last point is, there's complete agreement in the Shastra. Prabhupada's Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunivari Pasatya Desatara. It's complete, but just understanding, the realization. They have first realization. We have a deep realization. For example, if you ask a baby is drinking milk from the bottle. Where does milk come from? What would he say? Baby is drinking milk from the bottle. If you ask the baby where milk come from, what would he say? From the bottle. And when the baby is a little bit grown up, you say, ask the baby, the boys, where does milk come from? He will say, oh, milk comes from milkman, right? Or from the fridge. And then he would say, when he's grown up, milk comes from the milkman. And then one day the boys go to the farm and they see that, oh, the milk coming from the cows, right? So it depends on his understanding and progress, right? So this Mayavad philosophy, understanding of God, realization, Nirakar, that's also there. That's also part of God, conception of God. But the ultimate one is the Supreme Personality of God, as Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Gaurabhyanande.
Thank you, Maharaj. Now we're going to have drama.
Om Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Durgaya. Om Namo Mamaya.
My sorrow is impossible to describe. There are 5 of us, daughters of 5 kinds of jnana. We're different types of liberations. Please let me name us. Salokya, Samipya, Sharsti, Sayujya,
Yes.
and Nirvana. I have been given name Nirvana.
Yes. Nirvana.
Yes, because I'm the type of liberation that involving total annihilation of the soul.
Yes. Mercy to the one Brahman.
Well, my 4 sisters, they have left Vaikuntha. Yes, and they left me. I'm here all alone. But Lord Shiva gave me a big mercy. Sages and yogis, they were endeavoring to attain me for some time. But now even those sages, they don't want me anymore.
Well, I'm here.
They live in some kind of place called Rudradwipa. I don't know what that place is. But uselessly I was searching for them. Maybe they want me again. But no, they don't. Or when will I find them again?
Forget it.
And then Lord Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu delivered everyone except me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not happy with this because, I feel merciless. And therefore, I will find a place where I will give up my life. Yes. And this place shall be known as Nidaya, merciless.
All right. Well, we'll give you Daya because you have nothing to fear. Sayujya, because I am here. Bhagavan, Maharshi, Mahadev Yogi, and I will take you from this place where introduce you to another place. America.
Wow!
See all those people there?
Yes!
Look at them.
Wow!
So eager. They want exactly what you have to give. Liberation!
Yes!
Yes! Let's go! Let us preach to these. They look really very receptive. All right. Sing after me. Oh, see, look at. Oh. Oh. Mantras. Somebody taught them mantras. Oh. Yes. And now, say after me. We are one.
We are one!
We are all one.
We are all one.
Ranga, yes, that's me too. Shiva, yes, that's me too. We're all God.
Haribo.
Repeat it. I am God. Yes, we are God. Yes, we are all God.
We're all God.
Liberated, and we're going to merge into oneness. Ah, Sayuja, what a wonderful place we found. Oh, let us continue our. Uh-oh.
It's complete nonsense. It's a complete nonsense. It's a rascal
You remember that Goranga?
Don't associate with them.
Oops.
Don't associate with them.
I think they sent somebody.
What is their slogan? You know that? We are all one. No, sir, I disagree with you. We are not one.
But we are one.
You know, the Shastras and the Vedas and the yogis.
The absolute truth is a personality.
And if we're all one, we can do anything we like too, you see, right?
You believe in the Supreme Lord who does not have a form. I believe in the Supreme Lord who has a form. Therefore, we are not one. Are you all one?
Maybe we have to.
Some of you are wearing white kurta, some of you are wearing saffron robe, some of you are wearing sari. How can you be one? Or if every day, 365 days of the year, if you get only khichdi, prasadam, how many of you agree for that? Please raise your hand. How many of you want variety in prasadam? Rasgulla, Shandesh, Mishti Doi. Please raise your hand. They want only khichdi. Please serve them khichdi.
Khichdi is good.
If everything is one, let them take garbage. We are not interested in garbage.
I'm not feeling good.
Because we are not one.
We're getting a little bit fatigued here.
Maybe we shall go?
I think they're going to sometimes say something like this. Nirvishesha
Shunyavada
Paschachadesha.
Yeah.
Look at it! Go!
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.